like played for the test that we did last last lesson?
Ví học về
Rồi đi
All right. Okay, so let me just close this window first. And we will start the lesson today in proper. All right, a very good day, everyone. Welcome to Unit 2 of the We Love Science series. Today we're look into reproduction in plants. All right. So in the previous unit, we have looked into the life cycle of the living things, like animals have 3-stage, 4-stage, plants also have 3-stage and 4-stage. So let us dive down in proper what exactly reproduction in plants is all about. All right. Reproduction in plants, right, follows strictly on the life cycles. Cycles, we all know that it's a repeated patterns of change that occurs around us. Living things continue to exist because they've gone through the life cycle. Non-living things, however, also involved in life cycles. For example, the water cycle ensures a constant supply of water on Earth. So let's look in proper into this lesson. When a bee visited a flower for food, all right, the pollen grains stick to its hairy body. Then the bees go to another flower for food. The pollen grains are then transferred to the next flower that the bee visited. All right. This set off a chain of events that resulted in the plant producing seeds, and the seeds developed into a new plants. So today we look into how are seeds being produced and how the plants disperse their seeds. All right. All right, the keyword here, right? Living things like us, we reproduce. Why? Because we ensure the continuity of our own kind. The parent pass on their characteristic to the young when they reproduce. So basically, for example, for humans, you may find that you and your parents actually share the same characteristic, like same nose, same eyes, same ear shape, so on and so forth. So in order to for them to reproduce, right, living things like plants and animals have reproduction parts. So what are the reproduction parts of a flowering plants? Some flowering plants will know that have male and female parts, while others have just male or female. For a plant that have both male and female, as shown in this picture here, we have different parts for it. Okay, the male part of flowers consists of anther and filament, whereas the female parts of the plant consist of stigma, style, ovary, and ovules. All right. So the male part of the flower consists of anther and filament. The anthers contain pollen grain, and that's where how the bees actually gotten into all right, that's where how the bees got the pollen grain stuck onto them and carry them to another flower for reproduction. All right. And then the pollen grains contain the male reproductive cells. As for the female part, they contain the stigma, style, ovary, and ovules. The style connects the stigma to the ovary. So when the pollen grain touches the stigma, it will travel down all the way from the style to the ovaries. All right. Next up. Let's move on. So ovaries and ovules are found in the lower part of at the end of the style here, located here. So there are a few processes as of how the flowering plants will be able to reproduce. All right, we have the pollination, followed by fertilization, then dispersion and germination. All right, the first step is the pollination. So for this thing to start, the most common scenario is the bees will go to the flower and then landed on the anther of the flowering flowers. Then the pollen grain on the flowers on anther will stick onto the leg of the bees or the bottom of the bees. Then the bees will all the way to another flower, and the pollen grain on the body will then stick to the stigma of the female flower, and that's how this pollination occurs for insects. So there are two types of pollination that students here you have to understand. The first step is the animal pollinations, or known as insect pollination. Insect pollination basically means they need the help of the bees, the butterfly, to carry the pollen grain from the male parts of the flower to the female flower, maybe located in elsewhere. All right. Whereas the second one is the wind. The wind pollination basically means, right, as the wind blows, the pollen grain got picked up by the wind and travel to another flower. All right. Both wind pollination and animal pollination, right, helps the plants, right, to reproduce. But however, there's a different characteristic on it. Why? Flowers that needed to be pollinated by animals need to be very large and bright. And some of this flower have a very nice smell to attract the animals to come. So if you look around the garden, you see those flowers that's quite beautiful. That's big, and there's a sense of very nice fragrance from the flower. This type of flowers usually needs animal help to achieve pollination. Whereas for those flowers that don't need animal help, need the wind help, they are very small and they are very down in color because I don't need any animal help, so I don't attract any animal. All I need is the wind, the natural wind, to come and blow, and it will carry away. So in this case, look at these two pictures here. We have one that needs animal help, it's bright in colors, very big, with another flowers that needs just the wind, so it's very small and down. All right. So how does this pollinations occurs? All right. We have two different types of pollination. Self-pollination occurs within the same flowers or across the flower of the same plant, where the pollen grain just drop, go to another flower. Whereas cross-pollination will need something like insects or wind, whereby the pollen grain transfer from different plants, one plant to another plant. All right. Now, after the pollen grain being landed on the stigma of a flower, so what happened next? So students, be very careful. We know that pollination have two types. One is animal pollination, one is wind pollination, but they both result in the same conclusion. The pollen grain got stuck into the stigma of the female flower parts. All right. So when the pollen grain stuck on the stigma of the flower, what happened next? There are three processes for this process known as fertilization. After pollination, once the moment pollen grains got stuck in a stigma of the female flower, fertilization begins. Step 1. When the pollen grains landed on the surface of the stigma, each pollen grain produced a pollen tube. The tube grows down from the stigma through the star of the ovary, and the oval is found in the ovary of the flower. Inside each oval is an egg cell. So when this pollen grain got stuck in the stigma, it will grow a long pollen tube all the way to the ovary. All right. When the pollen tube reaches the oval, the male reproductive cells in the pollen tube fuse with the egg cells. So once this long tube being grown and reach the egg cells, the male productive cells will fuse together with the female cells to form the seeds or the fruits. All right. So this fusion of male reproductive cells within the egg is known as fertilization. All right. So after pollination and fertilization, what happened next? After fertilization, once the both male and female cells they fuse together, everything except for the ovary will drop off. The flower petal will drop off, left only the ovaries and the ovules. The ovary will grow into a fruits, whereas the ovules in the ovary will develop into a seeds. Some flowers have only one ovule in the ovary, therefore this particular flower fruits will only have one seed. One example is cherry and mangoes. So after it's being fertilized, the male and female cells fuse to form a seeds. The flower petals begins to drop off. As everything start to drop off, left just the ovary. The ovary will start to swell to form into a fruits. The ovules will start to develop into a seeds. And as time goes by, the seeds will continue to develop inside the fruits, and the fruit get bigger. To sometimes, after some times, the fruits will ripe and it's ready to be eaten or to be dropped off to form a new plant. So you can see this picture here. We have this single seeds plant diagram and the plants with multiple seeds like the tomatoes, but all form the same thing, whereby all the flower petal will drop down and the ovary will swell and form into fruits and become tomato. The fruits have this purpose called protection. All right. It will basically be there to protect the seeds until it's ready to be released. When the time comes, the fruits are ripe. All right. So now, after the fruits are ripe, we've gone through pollination, we've gone through fertilization. Now, the third process of the reproduction is dispersal. How are the seeds going to be dispersed or scattered? We know that the fruits now currently is being stuck on one plant. How does this particular plant going to disperse the seed? The plant can't move its leg. The plant can't move anywhere. So how? All plants need to ensure that their seeds are scattered or dispersed as far as possible. This is to ensure that the plants don't get overcrowded. Let's imagine that if all the seed will drop on the ground and the seed grow into a young plant, the young plant will be fighting resources and nutrients with the mother plant. With something that is not right. So therefore, the plants need to disperse the seed as far as possible. So there are different methods being used by the plants to disperse their seed as far as possible. Number 1 is animal. Number 2 is water. Number 3 is wind. Number 4 is explosion. Let's look at them one by one. Animal dispersal. So how does animal help to disperse the seeds? Well, the thing is, when an animal eat the fruits, they eat the seeds together. So when they eat the seeds together, the seeds will not be digested in the animal stomachs. But instead, the seeds will come out together with the birds dropping to another place. So after the example, the birds were to eat some fruits in Ho Chi Minh. After some time, it fly to Da Nang, and the poops drop from the birds and the seeds drop out together with the bird dropping. Then the seed will grow in Da Nang instead of Ho Chi Minh. But this is how the birds actually carry the seeds away from the mother plant. All right, by eating it. Next up, water. How does water helps the plants to disperse their seeds? Well, some plants, like the coconut, they grow in or very near water. So when the fruits drop, when the coconut drop from the tree to the water will basically carry the coconut to a new place, a new location for the coconut to grow. That's how water helps some plants in dispersing their seeds. All right. Then we have humans or animal involvement, whereby some seeds have sticky hair, whereby they will stuck on the hands of humans or the leg of the animals, where when we walk away, as time goes by, the seeds will fall off onto a new location. Next up, wind. We've seen animal, we've seen water. How does wind help? Some plants make use of wind. Why? Because their seeds is so light and small and they're easily carried by the wind, and the wind will blow them to a new location and to grow. So wind also does help some plants to disperse their seed as well. Then we have the explosion. When the fruits are ripe, they will split open, boom. and the seed will be dispersed across the different direction away from the mother plant. All right, these are the 4 different examples of how the plants disperse their seeds to ensure that their young don't stay near them. So this graph shows a picture of 4 different plants: W, X, Y, and Z. All of them have different method of seed dispersal. From the graph, if you look carefully, X, the young of the X are scattered near the parent plant of X. For Y, it's split out across the lake. For W, it is all the way to the other direction. For Z, it is all across the whole pictures. So from this, how do we know, or what can we tell to know that this particular plant uses what seed dispersal method? Let's look at W. W is here. The direction of wind blow from here to this side. All right. The young plants of plant W are found at the same place from the wind that's blowing. So the wind blow from this direction all the way to here. And you can see that all the plants here, they are all scattered here. So from here, we can know one thing is that all these are being dispersed by the wind, because wind direction go this way. So therefore, and also it's the most furthest from the parent plant. Therefore, we can say that plant W are most likely be dispersed by the wind, because only wind can carry from this direction all the way to here. All right. Next up, X. Let's look at X now. X are all near to the mother plant. All right. The wind is blowing this direction. So rightfully, if let's say X is use wind, right? The plant, the young baby plant of X will be somewhere here. But unfortunately, the graph shows that the plants are scattered around the parent plant. Therefore, we most likely believe that the plant X are being dispersed by explosion. So therefore, when the fruits exploded, the seeds of the plant X split into different direction, but being the metal explosion, it cannot travel far. Therefore, it's nearer to the plant X by itself. Next up, we have the Y. Y is in the water here, and Y, the plants of Y is all scattered in the water. So therefore, parents say that water is actually water method. So therefore, plant Y is using the water to disperse its seeds. Next, plant Z. Plant Z is here, but we can see that the child of plant Z is scattered all over the place. The only method that allows the seeds of the plant to be scattered all around the place is by animal, because only animals can travel from this location to another location scattered randomly instead of just one single direction, because wind will always carry the seeds to a specific location here based on the wind direction. Only animal can be walking around north, south, east, west with no direction, and therefore you will see the Z baby plant was scattered all around the map. This is how we differentiate and understand and categorize them into their seeds method of disposal. All right. Wind will always follow the wind direction. Water will always be in water or near water. Scatter around the adult plant will always be explosion. Scatter all over the place will always be animal. All right. Let's carry on. So after the seed being dispersed to its respective location, the seeds will begin to develop into a young plants if the conditions are right. This process is called germination. A seed needs air, water, and a suitable temperature for it to germinate. It do not need sunlight because it don't make its own food. that's put inside the baby seeds. So based on this graph, right, the roots of the baby plant grow first. During this stage, the baby plant is unable to make its own food. It gets own food from the food that's stored in the seed leaves. All right. After the roots being grown, we have the shoot grow next here. All right. Then followed by, once the plant develop its first leaves, it will start to make its own food once these first leaves are fully developed. The young plants will then develop into adult plants, and once the flower of the adult plant is pollinated and fertilization, the whole process cycle of life cycles will repeat itself. So that's how the life cycles of a plant works. So now we have just gone through how the flowering plants reproduce through 4 different stages: pollination, fertilization, seed dispersal, and germination. What about those plants that have non-flowers? They do not have flowers. How does non-flowering plants reproduce? Well, non-flowering plants reproduce using spores. They do not have any seeds because they have no flowers, but they use spores which can be grown into a new plant. Spores are microscopic and contain a spore bag found at the underside of the fern leaves. When the spore bags mature, they are ready to be dispersed, and they are only mainly dispersed by wind. So basically it's different from the flowering plant. Flowering plant dispersed by a lot of methods, through wind, through water, through explosion, through animals. But for non-flowering plants, mainly dispersed by wind. After the spores are being dispersed by wind, they grow into a new plants when the conditions are right. So let's come to the main section of the chapter. What characteristic do the plants pass on to the young? Every adults will pass on their characteristic to the young when they reproduce. All right, same as plants. Plants always produce seeds or spores like their parent plants. So one of the examples of characteristic that they will be passed on is the shape and the size of the flowers and the leaves. All baby plants will share the same shape and size of flowers and leaves as per their parent plant. Different types of flowering plants bear different fruits and flowers, but the same species, the same kind of flower will have the same shape and size of the flower and fruits. This is an example of a characteristic of a plant being passed on to the young. Let's have some story time. So we have this gentleman here called Mendel. He was born in 1822 and passed away on 1884. He is he's a scientist that discovered how characteristics are being passed on from parents to their young. So from there, he studied many plants. He carefully selected different types of plants and grew them to observe the characteristic of the young. He paid great attention to details and made many careful observations to arrive at the right conclusion. So by being thorough and accurate, Mendel helped us to understand that the characteristic passed on from parents to young, and he tell us that every parents and the young share the same characteristic of the shape of the leaves, the type of flowers, the colors, all these things. And he is known as the father of modern genetics by many of us in today's era. All right, next up. So this diagram here shows the what we have actually learned just now. Reproductions ensure continuity of plants. Reproduction also allows the passing on of the characteristic from the parents to young, and it takes place in both flowering plants and non-flowering plants. Flowering plants need to undergo pollination, leading to fertilization, which form the seeds that undergo dispersion, followed by germination. And we know that the dispersion will always take place with animal, water, wind, and explosions. Whereas for non-flowering plant, produce spores. So this is some of the diagram that I will share with you later in Zalo. Then let's proceed on. All right, so let's look into the in-depth details. So we have the ovaries here. Ovaries contain fertilized eggs. Then the ovary will enlarge, the petal will drop off. The ovary will form into a fruit. The seeds will develop from the ovules. And then once the fruit ripe, the flower part will fall away. Okay. So let's carry on all this on some of the lessons here. Okay, students, I'm going to open up the floor. Let's see whether can I have a poll here. Or can I do a poll for today's lesson? Okay, let me get a volunteer now. I'll just stop to answer the questions. You can raise your hands if you want to answer the question. Question 1. Flowering plants reproduce from what? All right. Good morning, Roland. Hi. Oh, never mind. I'll get another person. Hi, Annie. Nice to meet you online. Good morning. You can unmute yourself. I think you can okay, Annie, are you there? Nope. I shall get him.
Yes,
Hi, Annie.
yes, I am.
Hi. Can I know the answer for question 1? Flowering plants reproduce from?
I think that flowering plants reproduce from spores.
Okay. Well, the answer is wrong. Thank you, Annie, for help for your help. Flowering plants don't reproduce from spores, all right? Only non-flowering plants reproduce from spores. Flowering plants reproduce from seeds, while most non-flowering plants reproduce from spores. The petals and the flower stalks are not part of the plant's reproductive system. Therefore, the answer is number 2, seeds. All right, let's carry on. Arrange the following statement in the correct order shows how a fruits are being developed. Can I have a volunteer, please? Maybe I'll get. Hi, Calvin. Good morning. Hi. Can I know the answer for number 2?
Wait for me for a little. I will arrange it already.
All right, no worries. So arrange the following statement in the correct order to show how a fruit's being developed. A, the petals wither and fall off. B, pollen tubes start to grow from the pollen grain. C, pollen grains from the atol landed on a stigma. D, the pollen tube grows down the stars into the ovary. So which first?
Maybe I will choose number 3.
3. All right, very good. Thank you very much. You are right. Yes, the answer is number 3. Why? Because pollen grains landed on a stigma grows pollen tubes. Then one of the pollen tubes will grow down into the ovary and deliver the male reproductive cells to the female parts. Once the male and female reproductive cells fuses, fertilizations occurs and the petals wither and fall off. Therefore, the answer is number 3, whereby the first step is pollen grains from the atol landed on the stigma, followed by B, pollen tubes start to grow from the pollen grain, followed by D, pollen tube grow down the style into the ovary, and last but not least, A, the petals withered and fall off. Therefore, answer for question 2 is number 3. Next up, which of the following flower parts listed down are male parts? Let me have a volunteer. Hi, good. All right. Good morning. Hi, good morning. Yes. Lynn,
Uh,
good morning. Hi.
Yeah. Yes. And then
Oh, you raise your hand?
yes. Yeah.
Yep. So the answer for number 3 is
Uh,
sorry. Okay, then I'll get another person now. Hi, Mia, is it? Good morning, Mia. Hi, good
Mm,
morning. So, what's the answer for number 3? Which of the flower parts listed below are male parts? Is it the ovary? Is it is it attle? Or is it a stigma or filament? Which one? Mia?
hmm. You call me, right?
Yeah, I call you.
Okay. It is number one. Ovary. The ovary.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. Flower parts. Okay. Male parts or female parts. Let's look one by one. Ovary is a female part, so it's not a male part. Anther is a male part. Stigma is a female part. Filament is the male part. So therefore, the answer for question 3 is number 3, B and D. Why? Because the filament parts holds up the atole which produce the pollen grain. Therefore, the male parts are atole and filament, whereas the remaining 2, ovary and stigma, is from the female part. All right, let's carry on. Which part of the flower contains the female reproductive cells? Can I volunteer, please? Yes, good morning, lady.
The reproductive parts
Or
of the
cells, sorry.
female
Cells, yes. Which part of flower contains the cells?
are are
1, 2, 3,
ovary.
4. Oh, 1, 2, 3. 1, correct. Thank you very much. Thank you, lady. Yes, you're right. The ovules contains the female reproductive cells because the ovules contains an egg cells which will be fused with the male cells when fertilization take place. Let's move on. Okay. This diagram shows a flower, all right? Which part, A, B, C, or D, play the least important role in the process of pollination? Students, bear in mind that the key word is least important role during the process of pollination. Can I volunteer, please? Hi, good morning. Xuan, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, this question. So which part, A, B, C, or D, plays the least important role during the process of pollination? The keyword here is least important and pollination.
I think it's a C.
C. Why C? Why do you choose C?
I think that that part is the least important role in process of pollination.
Understand. All right. Thank you very much. All right. The answer for this question is actually D. Why do I say so? C is an atole. Anther is the part where they produce the pollen grain for it to be stuck with on an animal, in order for the animal to carry to a female part for it to for the pollen grain to touch the stigma, which is A. So in this case, C is actually anther, where it produces the pollen grain. A is actually stigma, whereas for the pollen grain will start on the stigma. Then B is actually the style, whereby the pollen grain will grow the tube into the ovary, whereas D is the ovary. So part D is the ovary, which only develop into a fruit after fertilization. So in this case, the process of pollination only use up A, B, C, whereas D is only after fertilization take place. Therefore, the answer for this question is D. Part D plays the least important roles in the process of pollination, because pollination takes place when the ather produce the pollen grain, which is where it will stick into A, which is the stigma, and once the pollen grain stick into a stigma, it will grow into a pollen tube down the style, which is B, into D. So the process of pollination will end after the pollen grain stuck onto a stigma and grow the pollen tube. Fertilization will take place once the pollen tube hits the ovaries and the male and female cells fuse. That's when fertilization starts. Therefore, the answer for this question is D. Let's carry on. Question 6. The what develops into a fruit and the what develops into a seed. So, can I have a volunteer, please? Any volunteers? Yes, Roland.
I choose number 2, ovary and oval.
I understand. Very good. Thank you very much. All right. Yes, you're right. The ovaries develop into a fruit and then the ovals develop into a seed after fertilization. Well done. Let's carry on. The diagram shows a plant at different stage of growth. We have stage A like this. B, the roots come out. C, the shoots come out fully. D, the plants start to shoot up. And E, the plants grow taller and healthy. So at which stage is the sunlight necessary for further healthy growth? In other words, which stage needs sunlight? Can I have a volunteer, please? Yes, good morning, Ben.
Good morning.
Morning, can I know which stage needs sunlight for it to
I
grow?
think it's stage D and E.
Very good, thanks, Ben. You are right. Yes, stage D and E need sunlight because that's when the true leaves have appeared. Thus, sunlight is essential for the seedling to start to make its own food and continue to grow. All right, let's carry on. The diagram below shows how a flowering plants develop. All right, we have adult with W, X, Y, and Z. All right. So what do the letter W, X, Y, and Z represent? Can I have a volunteer tell me what is the thing going to represent? Hey, good morning. You there? Hi, good morning. What's the answer for question 8?
I think it is one. I think it is one.
I understand. All right, thank you very much. All right, the answer for question 8 is actually 2. Why? The adult plants produce flowers which becomes fruits after fertilization. So therefore, we have number 2 is flower followed by fruits, then become seeds and become seedlings. So adult plants produce flower which become fruits upon fertilization. Fruits containing seeds which grow into a seedlings, then the seedlings grow into an adult plant. Therefore, the answer for this question number 2. Now, let's carry on. Can I have a volunteer, please? Look at the diagram on the flower below, A, B, C, D. So name the parts of different flowers. Hi, good morning.
Yes.
Yes, so what is A?
I'm sorry, I don't know very much about this part. Can you call another?
Sure. Okay. All right, thank you very much. So, hi, morning, Lam. Can I know what is, yes.
I think A is Poland.
All right, A is pollen. Pollen grain is being made by anther. So for this case, let me just try to write out first answers. A is actually anther. Let me just change another color first in order to make it more clearer. All right. Okay, so A is anther. B is the parts that basically supports the anther, which is the filament. Followed by C is actually the stigma, where the pollen grain was get stuck in the stigma. D, but is the style where it holds the stigma. All right. Next up, can I have a volunteer, please? State 2 reasons why the plants disperse their seeds. Good morning. Can you tell me the reason why the plants disperse their seeds?
I'm not sure. I don't
Okay,
know.
no worries. Thank you very much. Okay, in the past, just now, right, when we discussed, right, if the plants don't disperse their seeds, all the baby plants will be crowded around the mother plant, and it will become overcrowding and leads to competition. So the first reason is to prevent overcrowding, which can lead to competition for nutrients, water, light, and space. Because in a particular land, there's a limited amount of resources. If every single baby plant grow around the mother plants, there's bound to be competition and overcrowding. All right. So therefore, the first reason why the plants disperse their seeds is to prevent overcrowding, which can lead to competition for nutrients, water, light, and space. The second reason why plants disperse their seeds is basically to allow the child, the young, to grow in a more favorable place. Because when you disperse the seeds away by animal weight, it will lead to a new environment, a new place, which is more favorable for the young instead of competing with nutrients with the adults. These are the two main reasons why the plants disperse their seeds. All right, let's carry on. All right, the diagram below shows the growth of the seeds. We have the seed, seedling, and young plant. So in germination, the parts that grow out from the seed first is the... Yes, David. Good morning, David. What's the answer for these questions?
The first in germination, the plant,
Sorry, you just cut yourself.
in germination, the part that grows from the seed first is the roots. Then it is followed by the stem.
All right, very good. Thank you very much. So yes, you are right. The seed that grow is the roots, followed by the shoot. We don't call it a stem, you call it a shoot first, all right? So where does the seedling get its food from? They get its food from the food that was stored in the seed leaves, all right? When will the plant be able to make its own food? Well, as mentioned earlier, when the plants All right. Gotten is when a plant had got its first set of true leaves, then they will be able to make food for the plants through the process called photosynthesis. So when the plant got its first set of true leaves, the plant will be able to make its own food for the plant through photosynthesis. All right. Next up, diagram P and diagram Q. Which one shows pollination take place? As we all know earlier just now, pollination is when the pollen grains got carried away from the anther of the male flower plant to the stigma of the female flower. So in this case, we have a B here. So therefore, we can say that diagram P is the one that shows that pollination take place. So let's explain what pollination and fertilization are. All right. Pollination is the process in which pollen grain are transferred from the anther of one flower to the stigma of the same or different flowers.
Sorry, Mr. Andrew, your
Yeah,
mix is
yeah.
has some problems.
My what?
Your mix.
Your mix.
Oh, my mic. Testing.
Microphone.
Can you hear me now?
It's echoing.
Your sound is quite strange.
I sound quite
Yeah,
strange.
Now
your
you're
sound is
talking like
quite
a robot.
strange. Your sound is echoing.
All right, now can you hear me?
I can't understand.
Okay.
All right, so the process of pollinations is in which the pollen grains are transferred from the anther of the one flower to the stigma of same or different flower. This is how the pollination takes place. All right. Now moving on to the next one. So how do we differentiate? How do we explain fertilization? All right. Fertilization is different from pollination. So fertilization is the process in which a male reproductive cells fuses with a female reproductive cell. This is how fertilization takes place. So students, bear in mind that for the definition, you must be very clear. For science, your grammar got issue, no worries. As long as the keywords are there, you are being marked correct. So for this case, right, pollination, what the teacher are looking into is the keyword called transfer and the keyword from enter of one flower to the stigma of the same or different flowers. These are the two important keywords that will give you full mark for this question. Whereas for fertilization, is they want to see the word fuses. So the male productive cells fuses with the female productive cells. That's when the fertilization takes place for the flower plant, the flower. All right, with that, I'll end today's lesson. I will share this worksheet on the Zalo chat later on. So do spend time to revise. All right. So with that, I'll end today's lessons. I will see you all next week for the next lesson. All right, that's all. See you later next week. Bye-bye. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone. See you next time.
Next week.
Bye-bye, Mr. Fan.
Bye.
Bye-bye, Miss Andrew.
Bye-bye.
Bye, teacher. Bye-bye. Bye bye.
Bye bye, bye bye, bye bye, bye bye.
Bye.
Cô em zoom nhé. Bye.
Bye chị.
Bye cô. Bye cô.